Now, delicious barbecue joints are rare enough, but ones that allow you to eat and eat until you practically pass out from the smoky goodness are simply magical, especially when they're called Salt Lick. So pop a cold one or grab a fresh squeezed lemonade and get ready for one of the greatest barbecue experiences in Texas.
What do you think about Salt Lick? What do you think
It's
about
the best barbecue in Texas.
the best in Texas?
In Texas. You walk in, you see the pit, and you start drooling like a dog.
The ambiance, the atmosphere, it's awesome. The music is great, and then of course the food, you can't beat the food.
We live in Dripping Springs,
Okay, just up the road.
just right up the road.
Now, how often do you get to make it down here?
Probably too often.
What's your favorite thing?
My favorite is the brisket, and if you're nice to the waitress, they'll bring you the burnt ends.
Okay. You gotta ask real sweet though, right?
Nice for the burnt ends.
All right, I'm getting my plan of attack. But before I get all meaty, how about a chat with the owner?
All right, so this is Scott, the one of the Salt Lick. Thanks so much. I'm doing great. Good. Standing in front of this pit, I'm getting hungrier and hungrier.
That's what it's here for.
There we go. So tell me about this place. How did the Salt Lick get started?
My grandparents bought this place in 1902 where we were standing. My father grew up, he was born right on top of the hill. In 1967, he brought me down here. He got out of his truck and he looked around and he took his boot and he made a mark in the ground with his heel. He went back and got his barbecue fork and he walked over and he held it out like this. That's what we used to size the pit. And we built this big thing out in the complete open. People would come and they would get meats and they would eat off the hood of their truck or the tailgate, stuff like that. And then a friend of his had him put a picnic table out.
Yeah.
And that's the start of the restaurant. With no electricity, no running water, no bathrooms.
It's pretty incredible for such humble roots to turn into this. Salt Lick now has a winery and a wedding spot, but it all comes back to one thing: meat.
The way we cook was what was handed down to him from generation to generation. So the pits that you see here are a recreation of the way they were cooking when they came in the wagon trains.
Okay.
And he said that, it's probably more traditional because there weren't any trailer hitches on the back of wagons to pull all those close smokers. When we first started cooking, we used pecan, but we burned all our pecan up. And so now we use live oak.
Okay.
But we take pecan hulls and soak them in water like people do hickory chips.
Yeah.
And if you have a flare up, we throw the pecan in there too, so it puts that pecan flavor in there too.
Sure.
They came from the southeast, so really our barbecue sauce is more of a southeastern sauce. There's no tomatoes in it. It's got a lot of vinegar and sugar in it. And then it's just been Texified over the years.
Aha, yes, the Salt Lick sauce, a key component of the Salt Lick experience. So delicious, it's been said that it's good on anything, which I may or may not know firsthand. I am ashamed. But the thing everybody agrees it goes best with is barbecue.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is ridiculous. I'm a family of one, but they treated me like a family of 12. Here's what we have here: brisket and, as requested, some burnt ends there on the side, the big old whopping pork ribs, and sausage. Throw some beef ribs on the top and you got yourself a Salt Lick meal. But there is no good way to start eating this much food. Burnt ends. It's the end of the brisket. It gets the absolute best thick bark on it. Oh man. It dries out but stays moist in the middle. Moving down the line, some of the big old pork ribs. These ribs are absolutely some of the best in Texas. Kept wet the whole time, and they come out and the sauce is sort of caramelized on the outside. And then don't be shy. You just cover them all right up. Someone must like me back in the kitchen. They sent out a whole platter of beef ribs. Slow cooked, so tender, so juicy. The fat is rendered perfectly, so saucy. Man, the sauce alone is enough reason to come to Salt Lick. But I cannot stop. This is phenomenal. There's a lot of people that'll tell you when you come to an all-you-can-eat barbecue meal that you never waste time on the sides. But I'm not a very strong man. I can't do it. I have to eat it all. I want it all.
What a day in Drippin'.